Hey, happy Monday and welcome into another episode of Good Morning Huntsville. Here we are, episode number 40, and I had to look down at the calendar.
Wow,
June
number 40 already?
Number 40.
Awesome.
Our good friend of mine just had she had her birthday, and she said something about, it's my 39th birthday, and I said, you finally caught up to me, and she's a little bit older than me, so not too much, but it was funny, so we were joking around. Hey friends, we want to welcome you in. Thanks for joining us here on a beautiful Monday as we get rocking and rolling here. The month of June is already rolling. Summer's right around the corner. It already feels like it outside. And we're excited to bring you this show each and every day. Our good friends from Walker County Federal Credit Union, Miss Karen Denman and Denise Olivas, in the house in the Elliott's Jewelers broadcast studio this morning. So good to see y'all. It's always a lot of fun. Last week was Memorial Day. I missed you guys. I had to roll solo last week.
Felt like I was forgetting something all day.
Yes, for sure. But on a holiday, we just couldn't get up here at 7 o'clock, Rob. Sorry.
Hey, that's all right. Well, we had fun. We appreciate y'all's support so much. Again, Walker County Federal Credit Union, they are our Monday Foundation 5 sponsor. Highly recommend you go by, talk to Karen, talk to Denise. We'll talk more about Walker County Federal Credit Union throughout this show. They do excellent work. But yeah, last week was a lot of fun. Y'all, of course, weren't here. It was a national federal holiday, and we so appreciate getting those breaks. And so what we did is we took a pre-recorded segment, kind of pieced it together in a really awesome way, and we were able to bring Tara Burnett back on through a previous recording. And so we still had y'all in there on a Monday, and it was really cool just to hear her message again on a Memorial Day. So it was really important.
For sure.
What do you guys do in the banking industry? Do you have a calendar on your desk that has these federal holidays like highlighted in bold neon green? Like yes,
and we cannot wait for the days.
How do those holidays work for y'all as a bank? Do you decide individually as a branch, or is that pretty much standard across the board?
Federal holidays.
Federal or standard, yeah.
That's awesome. How does that affect the banking industry in general? Not in a negative way. I'm not saying in a negative way, but like in a just. Do any transactions go through on those days? Do the computer systems, does all that stuff still go, or does it go into pending? I guess if I'm saying that correctly.
No. I mean, the way everything's set up now, it still goes through. And then, if you have a deposit that's supposed to be coming through, if anything, you're getting paid early now. So.
Love that.
Yeah.
So, well, it was good. What did y'all do for Memorial Day? Karen, I'll start with you. What did you do for Memorial Day?
I spent the day in the pool. And, we had a tornado in my neighborhood. May the 23rd was actually my birthday, and had some plans that evening, but those plans changed drastically when trees fell, and it was a mess, but it's cleaned up now. It's better.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a minute, and I apologize. Happy belated birthday
to
you, Karen.
Thank you. So, I'm 39 too.
Yeah, Karen is 39 as well. You caught up to me also,
Right.
Karen. So, Denise, Memorial Day for you. What were you up to?
I was actually in the pool with Karen that day. I went to we went to the Austin area for the weekend, and I came back that Monday. Spent it there at the pool. It was a good weekend.
Those pool days are a lot of fun. They just opened up our pools in the neighborhood, and we took Braylon out a few days ago, last week when they opened up everything. In fact, I believe it opened Memorial Day, and so we were out there, and it was funny because Braylon, when she was maybe just a few months old, we took her to the pool. They didn't have any of these cool floaty things when I was a kid growing up. I'm sure
they didn't.
None of us had all that.
No.
And they have these really awesome little floaty, I don't know what to call them, man. I'm so bad with like trying to describe names of things, but it's this little floaty with a shade over it, like a little dome that goes over it.
Yeah.
For babies, and so you can put them in the pool with you, and they just lay there and chill.
Yeah.
And it keeps them keeps them covered. But we took her back because she hadn't been, since then. Obviously, we're not going to go swimming in Fargo in the winter. And we took her back, and she was so brave. She was standing on the edge of the pool, and I think Rick knew the answer to this last week. Rick Boning over at Tomorrow's Promise. But there's that concrete area around the pool, and she was jumping from that into the pool. And I was like, this is nuts, man. Where did this kid come from? So it's always a lot of fun with summer kicking off and all that. As you prepare for summer, what do you look forward to most, Karen? What's kind of going through your mind? Because, unlike school, we don't get off. We still got to work.
Exactly.
But what's going through your mind in the summer?
Weekends. Seriously. weekends.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Denise, what's going through your mind when you think of the summer? What's happening?
We do actually have a vacation plan this year, so I'm looking forward to that. We'll be in California, so that will be amazing. It's still nice and sunny, but right by the beach, so you get that cool breeze. Oh, it's amazing. I love it.
Where at in Cali are you going?
It's actually Oxnard is where my family is.
Okay.
Port Hueneme, right by Malibu. Anybody that's not familiar with it, so.
Is that north,
Beautiful.
south? I'm not very familiar.
LA area,
Okay.
probably the closest big city.
South or north of LA?
Northish.
North, okay. I went south. I'd always thought that like California was this blistering hot, just like, oh, this is not going to be nice. And we went one summer to a broadcasting conference in Del Mar, and I stayed at a little Airbnb in Solona Beach. And man, I got there, and the first thing I noticed was it was nice and cool, but I thought maybe it was a fluke. And I asked I had to stay in this Airbnb. It's really strange. It was one of these Airbnbs to where you're basically in a room, like you don't get the whole house to yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So I walk in, I'm like, this is kind of awkward. Like this couple greets me, hey, how you doing? Welcome to our home. And I was like, oh, weird. Okay, hi, how you doing? And they were really nice folks, though. The thing that concerned me was, you know how you have motion detectors for security systems in your homes? Like I have one up here, like it's a little white box. Well, this one had a really weird, like little black hole under the sensor. And so I start looking around online. Sometimes those mean they have a camera in them. And I was like, oh man, but they had really high ratings at this particular Airbnb. So I
So you
kind
know
of,
they're watching you somewhere from the other room.
man, I was getting, no joke, I was getting nervous. So I'm like sneaking around trying to hide behind the sensor. And I found a wire to it, and thank goodness like it was disconnected. So I was like, okay, this thing's probably not legit. But they were nice people. But what I was getting at is, you know, the first thing I noticed, the house didn't have air conditioner. I asked
No
the,
AC.
I asked the
There's no AC in
host, I
California.
was like, we're in California, I don't have AC. He laughed, he goes, dude, we don't need AC here.
Yeah.
And I never knew that.
You get hot in the house, you just open a window.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it.
And the whole time we were there, it was in the upper 60s, low 70s. I mean, we're talking in the summer, and this was there in Del Mar. And one of the most exciting the funny thing was, the place I was staying, it was about 2 blocks away from the ocean. I didn't have a chance to walk down there. You'd think, man, you're there. But we were so busy with the conference, didn't have a chance to go. But, you know, the place I stayed wasn't this really nice. You know, I'm not knocking it, but it wasn't this really nice place. I only paid like $120 a night to be there, which was cheaper than hotels in that area. But it wasn't that nice. And I thought, you know, if this was a property back in Texas, this thing probably worth maybe $50,000, $60,000, which isn't a lot, right? And so I get on I always like to research appraisal district records.
Yeah.
Like I do that all the time. And so I found the county that we were in. I found their CAD. I typed in the property, and my jaw dropped.
Yeah.
This place was appraised at only like $60,000. So I was right on the money with like what the previous appraisal was. But they were like, yeah, we're taxed at this, but the guy told me, and I didn't go up to him saying, hey, your place is only worth this, because he goes, we're thinking about selling this because the one right next door to us just sold for 1.8.
Yep.
We were told we could get almost $2 million for this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous what stuff costs around there.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, man, if you could ever go back in life and say, like, if I would have known this.
Yep.
You know, so I think a lot of this is like a little nerdy one, but I thought about, man, if I would have known that Bitcoin would have taken off the way that it would, like in 2011, I told an employee of mine that it was trash. He worked with me, and he was doing all this Bitcoin stuff in the office at my computers, and I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm mining Bitcoin. I was like, what does that mean? I didn't know anything about this.
Yeah.
And it was all new then. It was actually 2010. He's like, yeah, this stuff is worth like 3 cents a coin. And the guy had like 20,000 Bitcoins. And I ran into him years, you know, Bitcoin got up to 68,000 at its highest per coin. I went up to him one time, I saw him a few years ago. I said, Paul, whatever happened to all that Bitcoin you had? He got mad. He's like, don't ever ask me that again. I was like, why, man? He's like, when that stuff hit like 7 cents, I sold it all. So, but it's like one of those things you think about. If you would have known that property in California would have been that much, could you go back 50 years from now or 50 years prior and buy property for
Yeah.
dirt cheap? You know?
Well, who'd have thought we'd be spending $100,000 buying a car?
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous to me.
It is, yeah. I mean, I just, you know, bought my truck up in Fargo, and it wasn't what they used to be. It's just,
Yeah.
and it was used, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. And everybody's like, no, that's a great price for a truck. So, speaking of that, Walker County Federal Credit Union
Yes.
does loans. So that'll kind of
Yes, we
segue us
do.
in. Whenever Bridget and I first got our little Santa Fe, we went to you, and Karen, you made that process so easy and simple. Maybe some advice this morning for somebody out there that is car shopping. The good news is we're seeing all the car lots filled up again.
Yes.
As I was driving, I love seeing Clint Mack's lot out there at Wiesner here in Huntsville filled up. We see it at their location down in Conroe. Bill Fick, all these guys, the Toyota dealership here, I love seeing that because the cars are back on the lots. What does that process kind of look like, Karen, for you as a banker? When someone comes in and says, hey, I'm interested in a car, can you kind of walk us through that loan process?
Yes. If you're looking for a vehicle, it's best to go ahead and get pre-approved, do the application online. We can get all that taken care of for you. That way, if you go to the dealership, you can sign electronically. We can email the documents to you. If you've already bought a car and you want to refinance, do the same process with the application. Then just send me the VIN, the mileage, your current account number with your current lender, and then I'll do all that back-end work, and then we'll go from there.
On the business side of things, what do you think about, lending, whether it's commercial, personal lending, what have you? What do you think is really the biggest thing that you see coming into the bank? Is it car loans, or what is maybe the most prominent loans that you guys are putting out?
Auto loans, yes, and then consolidation loans. If you're paying 5 or 6 different creditors and your rate's high, we can do a consolidation loan and combine all those for one payment.
I did want to ask about that. Maybe Denise can chime in on this as well, because, Bridget and I had moved, we came back, and there were some bills that we had to, unexpectedly kind of pay, and some medical things and all that. And so, after, it was, years ago, the greatest joy of my life was taking a pair of scissors and cutting up a credit card, I'll be honest. And then Bridget was like, why did you do that? We need that. I was like, no, we'll find a way to do it. And we do have a little bit of credit card debt, nothing too bad. But Denise, how do those kind of processes work? Say if somebody comes in and let's say they have $15,000 in credit card debt, and maybe they're 29% interest, which is kind of the going rate on some of those.
Very high.
How does that consolidation work? And when they come in, do you tell them like, hey, we'll do the loan, but you got to cut up the cards, you got to cancel the accounts? I've always wondered about that. So how does that work?
Yeah. That's well. I'm not going to tell them. Yeah, you need to cut up the card. But you're going to recommend. Yeah, because that's all of that goes into your borrowing power, because that's going into your debt to income. If you have those if you've got your cards maxed out, that's going into your borrowing power. That's hurting you in a sense to have that. It's good to have those for you personally, because in an emergency you do need those, but. It's good to have that on your credit, but you don't want to have them maxed out. That hurts.
What do you see, Karen, with those consolidation loans? Because I think it is something important. Maybe there's somebody here this morning that's watching, or somebody coming back, on the audio-only podcast version saying, man, I'm in some credit card debt. I feel like I'm drowning right now. I know that if I can consolidate this, I can make the payment. Denise had mentioned some about how that process works, but what do you really see through the bank, and how important is it for folks to really consolidate that, and how much does it help them?
Well, it just depends on their overall, credit portfolio. If you have everything maxed out, if you've got 10 cards and they're all at their limits, it's going to really, really drive your score down, which in turn makes your rate higher. So, we can still, consolidate those. Your rate might be a little bit higher depending on score, because it's all, based on that. But, definitely if you've got a lot of debt out there, maybe consolidation might be the best thing. So you can have one payment instead of, 10 or however many.
I think there's so many people, and I've been in that boat, so I'm not judging at all. But we're not like deep in that boat right now. But like I said earlier, we're a little bit back in it, and there is this relief whenever you get all that stuff paid off, or it just takes like this stress off your shoulders of saying, man, one mistake that I made was when we were in North Dakota. I set up an account there with another bank. Obviously, I wasn't here. I didn't live, work, or worship, here in Walker County. I think about you
but
guys.
you could still use us.
Yes.
You could still have used your electronic services.
Yeah. And see, I didn't think about that. I should have called you and reached out. But we had an account up with a bank there in North Dakota. And so I immediately started setting up auto pay on all these accounts that I had. Well, what happens, we move back, we take funds out of that account, we start putting them into our other account with you guys, And then all of a sudden these auto drafts are coming out, and I start noticing $32, $32, 30, and I was like, oh my gosh, no.
Yeah.
And so for the last month, I finally got it all under wraps, but I mean, literally over the last month and a half, I was having to go back and take all of those things that were on auto pay off. That's why I called you. I'd actually called Karen. I said, hey, can you suspend, or not suspend it because you can't do that.
Yeah.
It'd be nice. Hey, Karen, can you just suspend my loan for like 8
Yeah.
years? You do my
Yeah, just put me on hold.
but no, I was looking at it, and so that's why I reached out to you and said, hey, can you take our car payment off of the auto draft temporarily, because I was trying to get all this stuff under wraps. You know, it was simple to put it on, but then when you start seeing those come out each month,
Yeah.
and luckily that bank was really gracious with us, and they understood that we moved back, and so they reversed all but one of those charges. You know,
That's nice.
They still hit me for the 132 because somebody had to eat that day, so they kept the 32.
Yeah.
But there is a process in that. You know, I think maybe that's another good question is, you know, so many people bark about, you know, these overdraft fees and all that. Well, one, you got to be responsible with your finances. I wouldn't say that I was irresponsible, but yeah, to a degree I was, because I didn't document what I had coming out. I just kind of set it up, and then every month I'd go back and reconcile it. So maybe that's a good question, Karen, you know, just to ask you from a banking perspective. You know, these fees are charged. They're not exorbitant, but they have to be charged because people have to do a lot of work. It's not just like this is something easy. You guys have some protections in place regarding some of these overdraft fees, I believe, and some things. Can you kind of tell us about those services?
We do offer lines of credit that you can log into if you know that you're going to spend more than what you have in your account. If you've got a line of credit, you can transfer that over, and it's like a loan, but it doesn't have an end date. It's just revolving. Those are reviewed, and that, you know, sometimes mistakes happen. You forget something that you paid, or an emergency comes up. So we offer lines of credit as well.
Denise, I have to ask you, because, you know, we've talked to you about this now, and you're the marketing guru over here, so I've got to ask you this. Is the cookie oven in the works over at Walker County Federal Credit Union?
Yes, Denise, is that cookie oven in the works?
Absolutely. Yes. I'm right on top of that, Rose.
There may be somebody out there this morning that's saying, you know, man, I bank at Walker County Federal Credit Union, and I would love some cookies too. So you know what, I'm going to donate the oven to the Walker.
Oh, that would be amazing.
And we're going to come in next
Whoever's
month,
out there.
Karen. There's going to be the toys like, what's going on? She's going to wonder. Someone's going to show up with a cookie oven at Walker County Federal Credit Union.
I've been asking for that cookie thing for years, have I not?
Since I've been there, she has. I think that's one of the first conversations we had.
Yes.
Well,
this is what we need.
This was one of the reasons whenever we got y'all on the show, and so thankful for y'all's support, that I said, you know what, this show is going to bring forth that oven eventually, so we're going to keep talking about it.
Okay, yes, let's do it.
Well, again, appreciate Karen Denman, Denise Olivas joining us here this morning from Walker County Federal Credit Union. Let us know you're out there. A lot of folks already chiming in this morning. Lisa Branch over at Learning RX is saying, Good Morning Huntsville.
Hi, Lisa.
Good morning, Lisa. Our good friend Lois from Old Town Theater is saying, good morning, friends. Good to hear from you. They just had a really awesome concert over there. You know, I have not been yet.
I have not either.
We need to get over to Old Town Theater, because I've heard there's so much great music shows that are out there. And Lois, I'm going to reach out to you soon, because we need to get out there. So I know that there was a great show. Rachel Drake is chiming in this morning, saying good morning.
Good morning.
And so good to see you. Also, our good friend Tammy, who's won a couple of prizes here on the show. She's chiming in as well. Justin Killingsworth is chiming in, saying, he's not just saying good morning, he's saying good morning.
Hey, Justin.
Good morning.
Also, Amanda is joining us. She's won some prizes here on the show as well.
Yes, she has. She's so lucky.
Yeah, she came by and won 4 tickets to Vintage Days that just happened. And also our good friend Irma Dowden saying, good morning, ladies and Rob. Thankful for great friends. Love y'all, and I'll see you at trivia tonight. So that's
Irma was at the pool with us yesterday. So thank you, Irma, for joining us tonight.
Man, how do I get this pool party invite? Because I see pictures, y'all are having fun, man. I'm like, what is going on? I'm gonna have to figure out how to get in on
No
these pool
invitation
parties.
necessary. Just come on over.
Well, we'll step aside. We'll take a break. We're going to talk about trivia night coming up here in just a few moments. Stay with us. Let us know again what you're thankful for this morning. And as always, enter to win great prizes. We've got some prizes we'll be giving away this week. All you have to do is comment with the hashtag Good Morning Huntsville, visit Huntsville TX, like this broadcast, and share it, and you will automatically be entered to win. But we'll step aside for now. We'll take a brief 1-minute break. When we come back, we'll talk more with Karen and Denise from Walker County Federal Credit Union. Stay with us. Having a great show so far this morning, and we'll see you back here in just a minute. Good morning, Huntsville. Welcome back in on a Monday here, 7:30 in the morning. You've got to be at work at 8 o'clock. You still got 30 minutes to get ready, get out of bed, get to work. We always joke around. I heard years ago that on an old radio station in my hometown in Georgetown, back in the good old days there was a lady that was on air. And she would always say, hey, it's 8 o'clock here in Georgetown. If you're supposed to be at work, you're fired. And so it was kind of a joke going on around. But welcome back in here on a Monday as we get started for another week. What a blessing just to be here in Huntsville, to have another great week on our forefront. Always excited about the great things happening here in our community. Every Monday, joined as always by our good friends at Walker County Federal Credit Union. Hey, I bank with them. I can say it. I can endorse them. That's what's fun about having y'all on is I have my accounts there. I don't have to sit here next to y'all and be worried about, oh, I don't have my account with y'all. So no, I've got my account with you guys, have my loans with y'all, my business accounts. These ladies will take excellent care of you for all of your banking needs. I'm going to tell you, you get world-class, first-class services that you can get at any major national branch right here at Walker County Federal Credit Union. When I was talking earlier about the auto payments, Karen, one thing that I've done that's really helped me that I started to set up with you guys was bill pay.
And that's free.
Yeah, and I love that because I actually do everything. I'm starting to migrate all of my accounts through the bill pay service now. Some folks are thinking, why don't you just pay it directly through the vendor? I like doing it through the bill pay because I have it all in one dashboard. Kind of like when we were talking about consolidating credit cards. I'm consolidating all of my bills into one place, and that's helping to organize me better. And you just said it, it's free, it's easy to set up.
Yep.
How do those bill pay services work? Because I always wonder when I'm going through there and I'm like, okay, I'm going to pay the city of Huntsville for my utility, for my water and sewer and all that. I pay it through that now. How does that process work? What happens when I hit submit? There's not like Denise isn't in there handwriting checks, sending them off, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've got the ease and the convenience of setting it up for the date that you want it to come out. You can set it up as a reoccurring or a one-time so that you can just go in there. But once you set all your payees up, you can just log in there monthly and tell it how much and what day you want it to go. And
that's it. That process is all automated as well. So I was just joking, like Denise, that doesn't go to Denise's desk and then she's not handwriting payments to people.
Yes. They stick me in the back windowless office until I'm done.
That's great. Well, again, check them out online. We appreciate Walker County Federal Credit Union. You can go to their website, find out more information at walkercountyfcu.com. For those of you that are on this morning, I will put that link there on the screen for you. But again, it is walkercountyfcu.com. Tammy Noakes joining this morning as well, saying good morning,
Tammy.
y'all. Good morning to you, Tammy. Also, our good friend Leah Lineback over at Sweet Caroline's Floral Shop. Every so often, she'll bring by flowers for us to give away, and so we appreciate that. But Leah's chiming in this morning. Good to hear from you. How about our good friend Melissa Barham as well, joining in this morning?
Hey, Melissa.
Good morning,
Saying,
Melissa.
Good morning, ladies. And I like this because it's always like, good morning, ladies, ... and Rob. So it's just good to be here this morning. Thank you, Melissa, for that. Also, Jacob is joining us as well. Jacob Holbrook saying good morning. And then Lois earlier was saying, yes, please come to a show. You'll love it. So we will definitely have to do that. I did want to mention, too, earlier before we took a break that it's always great that our friend Jerica, who I don't know personally, I just know her through Facebook, she always joins us from Fargo, North Dakota.
That is
Oh,
so cool.
awesome.
And and this is crazy fact right now. And Jerica, if you're still watching or listening, let me know about this. But at one point, I think they had 11 consecutive days here recently of over 90 degrees. I was talking to a young man at the radio station there that I used to work for those short months that I was there. He said, man, it is hot here. 97 degrees the other day.
Wow.
We haven't even hit 97 here in Huntsville yet.
And that's the
That's
temperature in
Fargo, North
oh,
Dakota.
my goodness.
So the good Lord wanted to melt that snow very quickly up there. Also, Toy is joining us this morning, saying good morning, y'all. So, Toy, if you were listening earlier, the cookie oven, please.
Yes, we want the cookie oven.
The people have spoken.
That's right. The people have spoken. Well, again, Karen Denman joining us, Denise Olivas. We are broadcasting live from our beautiful studio here downtown, just right off the beautiful Huntsville Square. Our studio is presented by our good friends at Elliott's Jewelers. Elliot Herzlich. By the way, Elliot has some prizes that he's going to be donating here to the show, which we're really excited about. He has some items left over from WineQuest, from Rotary that we just had a couple of weeks ago. He was telling me that each of these bags that he has, and we're going to give away several of them here on the show, jewelry in there is retail valued at $100. And so we're going to be giving those away.
Yep.
And we appreciate Elliot. You can check him out online at elliotsjewelers.com. gmail.com. You mentioned something earlier. We teased it. And now we're going to talk about it a little bit more. Trivia night. I asked you before, Karen, how you got into this. You told us the story. It's a lot of fun, but it is growing, happening tonight over at Rodeo. Our good friend Delphina.
Yes.
Oh, happy birthday, Delphina. It was just her birthday on Saturday.
It was
So,
Delphina's
shout
birthday
out.
on Saturday?
Yes.
All right. Well, happy. Man, all these birthdays are. We're so big here, like on Hello Huntsville, trying to put together an events calendar. We need to have a community birthday calendar.
Yes, we do.
No one
so you
has
could
that.
announce them on your show.
Yes,
yeah.
that would be
Birthdays
perfect.
for the week. Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody that's watching, if it's your birthday this week, comment right now and tell us it's your birthday. It's your time to shine. So let us know that. That would be a cool idea, though.
Would be.
A
It would
community
be.
birthday calendar.
Yeah.
And we don't have
Yeah.
to put your age on it, so don't worry. You can put holding at 39. It was cool. We'll talk about the trivia here in a moment. I know we're kind of bouncing around this morning. It's always fun talking to y'all. I mean, the ideas and the fun we have just starts flowing. But and it was cool. I remember growing up in Georgetown, they had a day, and it's hard to do now because communities are growing so big. But they invited everybody downtown to the courthouse. They said, "Hey, if you're available on Saturday at noon, we invite you, your family, bring everybody that lives in town, your family, your cousins, whoever, bring them all to the courthouse." And thousands of people showed up, and they took a community photo in front of the courthouse. And I've got to find that. But
That's
this was
cool.
years and years ago. I thought that was kind of cool. Just everybody in town that could show up could, and there was this huge group of people in front of the courthouse. So, maybe we'll organize a Huntsville community photo as well.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I don't know.
be
You
cool.
probably have to go through a lot of hoops, so to, get people in parking and all that kind of
Yes.
thing.
I was
yeah.
going to say, where are they going to park?
See, if you live in Ding Dong, Texas, which is a real town, by the way, there's like 30 people there. That's easy. Hey, everybody, you just meet them at the coffee shop. We'll take a photo. Here's our community photo this morning.
There's really a town called Ding Dong.
Ding Dong, Texas. There is. Yeah. Just Ding Dong, Texas. Gun Barrel City is another one.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
Dime Box.
Dime
Heard
Box.
of that one. Yeah.
I'm trying to think too. Someone one time said I'm going to Paris. I was like, man, that's Paris, Texas.
Yes.
So there's a lot of really awesome names. Another one, a friend of mine grew up. Man, I can't remember in West Texas. The mascot. This was in West Texas. The mascot, a high school mascot, was the Blizzards. And I'm just thinking, like, how's your mascot the Blizzards?
Blizzard,
And it
yeah.
doesn't really blizzard
'Cause
there,
it's-
even
yeah.
though it's West Texas. In this area, they don't have many blizzards. I don't know where they came up from it.
Well, there's probably
Interesting.
one blizzard ever in the history, and
I think it was.
that's where it came from.
I don't know. Anyways, I don't know how we got on that tip. Let's go back and rewind and talk about trivia night coming up. Karen, what's going on tonight? What time does it start? How can folks get involved in this wonderful event you've been doing for a while now?
It starts at 6:30 every Monday at Rodeo. We do 4 rounds, and then there's a wager round, of course. But for each round, Delphina is so generous.
She really is.
You get if you win the round, you get a prize: a free drink, a free appetizer, or a dessert, your choice. And then there's a grand prize for first, second, and third at the end of the night. So it's a lot of fun. Denise and I were talking about this last night. Our 1-year anniversary of doing this is coming up in July, so we're going to have something special on that particular night as well. But we love to do it. It's a lot of fun. People enjoy it. All ages. We've
Oh,
got
yeah. We've got
little bitty to, I don't know the age, but
We have some very loyal.
yeah, we do.
How
We
many
do.
teams? You said like there was 15 teams, something that's showing up. Or at one point, you guys had almost 15 teams there, which is unbelievable.
We have had up to 15, and we don't limit the number of people that you can have on your team. So bring your friends, and come on, join us and see if you like it.
And what time is it again?
6:30,
Any price to enter? You just come in and do it.
free
play.
to play.
Awesome. Well, my nieces are in town, and one of my nieces is in 8th grade. She'll be in 9th grade. My other niece is going to be a junior this year. They're staying with us this week. They live in Temple. They used to live up in South Dakota, so when they came back, 6 years ago, we were just ecstatic because we're like, yes, I finally get to be around my nieces. So they're staying with us this week. They love Huntsville. In fact, my niece Zoe is going to be going to, she's already planning on going to Sam Houston State. So that was another kind of driving factor for us wanting to come back. The family was the biggest thing. I was thankful for that time. But, when you think about family and just family, cousins, babies, everything that comes into all that, we just wanted to be around. And and Zoe said, hey, I want to go to Sam Houston State. Bridget and I were like, it'd be cool to be back in our town to where she can come by and visit us. And I think a lot, you hear stories about, hey, when I was growing up and going to college, I'd go over to my uncle's house and, have dinner with him all the time because they were in the same town, those kind of things. So it'll be fun. But I was bringing that up because I asked you about the ages, and you said, no, everyone's welcome. So I think maybe we're going to try to get out there tonight. We'll have some great food.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, too, the Huntsville, when you go to eat, I've told Delphina and I've told, and over Mandy over at Fiesta Taqueria, I'm like, you got to raise y'all's prices a little bit, man. And they're like, no, we're doing fine.
Yeah.
So other people out there are like, Rob, don't tell them that. Well, you got to eat. I mean, you're not spending an arm and a leg here in Huntsville, especially like at Rodeo.
Right.
It's unbelievable food.
It is. Yeah.
So we appreciate Delphina. So get on out there. Rick said I'll be on Rob's team. You don't want to be on my team, man. Trust
Well,
me.
maybe your nieces may know all the answers. So
That's what I was going to say. My niece that's in 8th grade going into 9th grade this coming up year, she was using words that I never even heard of. I goes, well, what does that mean? She goes, you don't know that word? I was like, no. And she knows these huge words. My dad was that way. He knew these huge words that I had no idea what they were. So anyways, what's the trivia mainly focusing on? I mean, is it everything, anything? What are some of
It's a little bit of everything.
What are some of the topics, some of the things that you guys have did the trivia on before?
we do, the first round's always random. Then if there's a particular event like Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, Valentine's, we do a round on whatever's coming up or whatever's happening. And then sometimes we'll just do a quote from a movie, or what are some of the other things? We do all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's just a wide variety of
TV
of
shows,
things.
music,
Cast
sports
parties,
stuff.
Yeah,
Just
So
everything.
Just a wide variety. So it's not all science or history, or it's not like that.
How do you come up with the topic? Do you have like a book or something? Is there software? I mean, how do you do all this?
We just get creative. I mean, we may, one of the rounds we call it Color Me Bad or Color Me Good, what color me. And it could be the name of a famous person who has, like a Robert Redford, or,
okay.
a movie with the color fried green tomatoes, just different stuff like that. And so really we just come up with some fun things, and everybody enjoys it.
Denise is over here smiling really big because I can tell Denise. We're going to switch to the Denise and Karen cam over here because she's smiling. So you really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, Denise.
I really do. There's, Mondays. Mondays are long, I think, for us at work, because coming off of the weekend, everybody's got checking on their stuff or coming in. They're long days at work anyway, so we get out and we're tired. But I will say, when we get there, like, you get energized because you have a lot of fun and the crowd really gets into it. So it's a good time.
And it's 6:30, right? Is that what you said?
6:30, but I'd recommend getting there a little bit early because it does get quite crowded.
Yes, it does.
All right. Well, I just flashed it up on the screen there. It said trivia tonight at Rodeo, 6:30, no charge, no age limit. And so come out there and be a part of that. I'm really going to try hard to get out there tonight.
Yeah, I hope you do.
I think it'll be great. So looking forward to that. Again, it is Karen Denman, Denise Olivas joining us here. Let us know what you're thankful for this morning. This show's all about lifting you up and encouraging you. I heard a message this morning. I like to listen to a lot of inspirational stuff in the morning, especially when I'm taking that long drive from the back of Elkins here to the studio. I mean, it literally takes like 10 minutes just to get out of the neighborhood because we're way back in the boonies of the neighborhood. And then once you get out of the neighborhood, you're like, oh, it's like 5 minutes now. That's 12 minutes here. It's not that bad. But, I was listening to a message this morning, and it really hit home for me because sometimes we're going through dark phases, dark seasons in our life. You just had that storm come through where you live, Karen, but the community, the support showed up. Everybody came out and helped and cleaned up.
They did.
And you think about, we go through these dark seasons, and the way that it was originally founded, our Creator founded the day, that started in the evening. It wasn't like it was the day and the evening and that was the first day. The good word says it was the evening and the day, and then that was the first day. The day starts at night. It was the night and the day, if that makes sense. I kind of got that mixed up. But the day starts at night. At 12 a.m., our day starts at midnight. There's no difference, though, between 9 p.m., 10 p.m. You don't really realize that day is starting. And so, maybe you're going through a season right now and you've had tremendous loss. You're battling an illness. There's some financial issues that you're dealing with. maybe a separation. I know relationships can be really tough sometimes. Maybe your kids, you haven't talked to your kids in a while. I know a lot of folks that just haven't been able to talk to their kids in years just due to certain circumstances. Maybe you're in that season right now, but just know that morning sun always comes. And I wanted to encourage you this morning just to put aside petty differences and really reconnect with people. Maybe you haven't talked to somebody in 20 years and something's tugging at you this morning saying, you know what, even though I didn't do that person, I wasn't the one that did wrong. You may want to pick up the phone and just say, hey, you know what, I forgive you. And I've done that before. There's been people in my life that have wronged me, and it was the hardest thing to do. And I picked up the phone and I said, hey, you know what, I just wanted to tell you I love you. And, and you hear silence on the phone, and I'm like, what's this guy calling me for?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but
What's happening?
I want to encourage you today. And some of you have been through tough situations, and that's difficult. I'm not telling you to get on the phone and call every single person. Maybe there's that one person today. And that's where I'm going with this message today to lift you up, Huntsville, is, the day starts at midnight. And so it starts in that darkness. And the only thing that happens throughout the day is, guess what? The sun comes up and it gets brighter as it's going on. Karen, you and I were talking before the show. That's what I love. Before we go on and in between the commercial breaks, we're always joking around and having a good time. And, you were telling me like, hey, Karen, how's your morning going? And you're always bright and full of life and energy. And you said, hey, Rob, it's a Monday. And you had mentioned the power was out in some of your outlets. But then you were like, but you know what? Here we are, and it's going to be a great day.
Right. My GFCI plugs weren't working upstairs or downstairs. Even reset the breaker. That's all I know how to do is reset. Still not working. So here I am with wet hair thinking, okay, how am I going to do this?
And the first thing Karen asked me, she goes, oh, we're back to the headsets this morning. I was like, no, don't worry. We got one lapel mic for you, Karen, so it's all good. So, but again, thanks for joining us here. Having a lot of fun this morning. Still got some time here on the show to comment. Let us know that you're out there. We'll get to those comments that are coming in here in just a few moments. And be sure to like this broadcast and share it as we continue to grow. Over 1,600 followers now here on Hello Huntsville. And we don't boast about that for us. We boast about it because it's great for the community. We want to continue to promote wonderful organizations like Walker County Federal Credit Union and also the events that are going on around Huntsville. We have a lot going on. Our calendar continues to grow. So if you've got an event that you'd like to submit, just go to HelloHuntsvilleTX.com and submit those events. For now, though, we'll step aside. I think we all need a breather. We'll take one other break, and then we'll come back, and we'll talk more here on the show this morning as we highlight the good happening here in Huntsville. Stay with us. A lot more to go here this morning on Good Morning Huntsville. Welcome back at it here on Good Morning Huntsville. Rob Hipp alongside beautiful ladies this morning, Karen Denman, Denise Olivas. Appreciate them joining us from Walker County Federal Credit Union. For all your banking needs, please go by and see my friends. Let them know I sent you, by the way. I don't mind endorsing them. I have my accounts there. I see Karen and Denise all over town. Karen has been so active. And in fact, when I first got to town, there's several people that identify, and Karen's right up there in that list of people that I've been able to know. Yeah, people try. That's Irma over there trying.
Oh, it is Irma.
Was that Irma?
That's Irma.
See, you gotta love the show. We got a little bit of a drive-by audience out here honking at us this morning. We appreciate Irma very much. Some folks have asked me like, "Wow, Rob, you have that show so early in the morning." Well, radio shows get going at like 4:35 sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know who's up that early. But we wanted to have the show from 7 to 8 because we knew that there was a lot of people that were getting ready to go to work, and we've had a lot of feedback from folks saying, "Hey, you know what? I really enjoy tuning in because I listen when I get ready for work."
Yeah.
And so this show is always going to highlight what's happening in Huntsville, and I like the hour format because we get to really have extended talks and we do have kind of a flow, but a lot of what we do is unscripted because I kind of feel like it just brings forth great content. You never know what we're going to talk about on the show, and we have kind of a guideline. One of the guidelines that we have is we always highlight our Foundation 5 sponsors, such as Walker County Federal Credit Union, and appreciate their support as we are here on episode number 40 this morning. It is the National Day of a few things, and I wanted to highlight those. That is one thing you can always hear on the show almost every day, is the National Day of. I'm not a big fan of this one. I'm not knocking you. If you don't eat meat, you're missing out. I love you, but if you don't eat meat, you truly are missing out. Today, though, it's your day. It's National Veggie Burger Day. Have you ever had a veggie burger before?
I have not. I do. One of my cousins is a vegetarian, so we do give her a lot of flack every time we barbecue. We're like, well, I know which one yours is.
One with no meat.
And I'm not knocking.
Got a little different color to it.
Yeah. No, look, we're not knocking. It was funny though. I knew a guy who was vegetarian. And he had accidentally, I don't know how he accidentally ate a chicken nugget. And he goes, my God, what have I been missing my whole life? And he eats chicken.
Accidentally ate a chicken nugget?
He eats chicken nugget. He thought it was like a veggie nugget or something. He ate it. I was like, dude, that's real chicken. He eats chicken nuggets now all the time.
Aww.
So, but it is National Veggie Burger Day today. I'll be honest, I did eat a couple at Burger King. They had what they called the Impossible.
Yeah,
it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I never tried it.
Man, I got to tell you, if you just need to like save some money, and you guys will love this being in the banking industry, if you need to save some money, go to Costco. What's the membership? $60 a year for like a regular membership, I think it is.
I don't even know.
Do y'all go to Costco? Man, we got hooked on Costco. Bridget and I love that place. I think like the basic membership is $60 a year. And they have like some executive one where it's like $120 a year. Just get the basic, all right? Here's why I brought this up, and y'all love it being in the banking world. You go in there, every day they give away samples. I got filled up yesterday. There's 20 stations of samples. I took my nieces. I was like, have y'all ever been to Costco? No, Uncle Rob, we've been to Sam's. Like, Sam's ain't got nothing on Costco. Unless y'all want to sponsor this show, then Sam's, you ain't got nothing on Costco. We walked in there. Oh, my goodness, man. They had just unbelievable samples. We hit up every little station and literally got filled up. And so they do it every day. What are you paying for lunch nowadays, Karen? If you bought a lunch every day, what is it, like $15 maybe, $12?
Yeah, probably.
All right, you go in there 5 times a month, you get your $60 back just by the samples alone. We didn't even feel like eating afterwards because we were so filled up. I brought this up, and you're wondering like, where in the heck are you going with this? It's National Veggie Burger Day. They had these chicken patties. Now this isn't vegetarian. Chicken patties tasted almost just like a hamburger. And so they suckered me into it. I bought them yesterday, cooked them last night, and just threw them in the air fryer for 6 minutes. My God, those were one of the best things I've had in a long time.
Huh.
So chicken patties, if you want to just stay away from the beef for a while, because we cooked turkey one time, it was absolutely terrible. Like the turkey, have you ever had turkey burgers? Yeah, it wasn't good. Those things were still gobbling, man. They were not good. So anyways, there you go. It is National Veggie Burger Day today. So if you don't eat meat today, is your day. And, my sister's saying veggie burgers are good. Thanks a lot, Rebecca, for coming in on that. Also, it is National Start Over Day. And I love this because we were talking earlier about you may be in a dark season. Today is a day that you can start over. You can forget about all that. You never forget it. Just let go of it. I don't want to say forget because you never forget the past, but let go of it.
Yeah.
Today's National Start Over Day. You don't have to wait for the new year for a new resolution. No. I think all of us, though, like when the new year comes, we do. Do y'all ever think about that? Like, hey, it's a new year. I want to do this. Do you make resolutions?
I quit doing that years ago.
Not anymore.
I thought about that the other day, and I probably mentioned it here on this show that why not have a new day resolution? Every day when you wake up, just have a new day. Why wait until January the 1st? Don't put it off. Get up today and say, you know what, today's a new day. I'm going to have a new day resolution.
Yeah.
Like my new day resolution over the past month, I haven't been feeling too well. Some weird like tingling going on. And I'm okay. I haven't, if something would have happened, it would have happened already. But, whenever you have, let me say it like this: when you have things going on, sometimes you start living in fear, right? You start thinking the worst about, my hand's tingling, something bad. You know what? I started thinking yesterday, today's a new day. I'm not going to sit here and live in fear anymore. Everything's going to be all right. I'm 39 years old. God's got a full life lined up for me. I'm not saying I'm anything bad, but I'm just saying maybe you're going through a similar situation today. Have a new day resolution. Wake up today saying, you know what, today's going to be great. I'm not worried about anything. Take care of yourself. Don't neglect the problems, I'm not saying like if your head's throbbing, like you need to go to the doctor. Don't just let that go. But I'm saying today's a new day. It's National Start Over Day. So if at first you don't succeed, what's the old saying?
Try again.
Wasn't that a song? First you don't succeed.
Aaliyah.
To stop yourself and try. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Aaliyah.
I don't even know who it was. I knew Denise would. Today, this is very important because it's something that I've been getting onto Karen about quite a bit. I just can't believe she's still doing this. If you're in law enforcement, you need to turn your ears right now. It is International Day for the fight against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, Karen. I cannot believe that you are still unreported and unregulated fishing around. I'm just kidding.
Nobody does that around here, I am sure.
This is the longest day of I've ever heard. Again, International Day for the fight against illegal and unreported and unregulated fishing.
Somebody was really upset.
Makes you wonder who comes up with
named
these.
that.
Yeah.
Someone was mad about this. They call it IUU fishing. That's a lot better acronym. IUU fishing occurs in virtually all bodies of water. It does, though. It really does cause problems for varieties of fish struggling to survive, people who are trying to manage fisheries properly, and people who depend on fisheries for food and jobs that are fighting illegal fishing. You know, talking about jobs, saw this yesterday come across the newswire. 2025, no more car inspections in the state of Texas.
I did see that.
Really?
They are done. They passed it in the state Senate. That is a law that will go into effect now in 2025.
You still have to pay some kind of
They make up on the back end. So now
surcharge on it, but
when you
yeah.
do your registration, they charge you $7 extra. But the thought process is that it is so time consuming, and does it really provide that much more safety? I would say no. I don't really believe it does, because I'm driving down the interstate, not just here, but I mean all over. I saw it up in Fargo. I've seen it in everywhere I've driven. Cars with bumpers dragging the roads. Are those cars safe? No. But did somebody miss something at a inspection shop? Probably. So is it really worth it? And I know there's some guys out there that probably work in the inspection, and this is where my heart does side with them, because is that going to affect them? Is that going to hurt their
Right.
business? Now, me knowing a couple of car inspectors, they told me that they don't even make much on it anymore anyways.
No.
So 2025, no more car inspections. That's the new state law that's going into effect. And I don't even know why I brought that up, but we were talking about something. It's also World Environment Day. So you know what? Earth Day, somebody said Earth Day isn't enough, so we're going to have World Environment Day. It's called WED, W-E-D. The day is set aside to encourage awareness and action to protect the natural environment. I think the marketing thing, you know, we go in phases in marketing, and the phrase "protect the planet" or "save the earth." I mean, I went to a cleaners one time, not here, but back in my hometown, and it's like, "Give us back your hanger, save the earth." It's like, how is giving you back my hanger going to save the earth? You know, I guess if 5 million, you know, what do you call it? 5 million cleaners decided that they were going to do this, but I don't know. It's just marketing things. Another one here, National Gingerbread Day today, Karen. Are you a gingerbread person?
I do like gingerbread.
I haven't had gingerbread in a while. Denise, you like gingerbread?
I don't love it. but-
It's nothing that you wake up in the morning saying, man, I can't wait for gingerbread
No.
today. 'Tis the season to celebrate National Gingerbread Day. I don't know why that didn't wait till December. Here's the best one, though, and this is one that we can all get excited
Yes,
about.
this is the best one.
This is the best one. If you come to my house, by the way, you're going to see bathtubs, you know, like weird things going on, tubing. It's National Moonshine Day today.
Woo-hoo.
Just kidding. You will not find that at my house as far as the making of moonshine. But it is National Moonshine Day. Every June the 5th, National Moonshine Day recognizes a beverage with a notorious record of blurring the lines of history and the law, turning ordinary men and women into criminals and common criminals into legends. Wow, all right. So there you go. It is Moonshine Day today. And so if you're making moonshine, today is your day, I guess.
Be a legend and bring some by the credit union. That would be-
And the
We
credit
actually
union-
have a member who does bring us some moonshine sometimes.
Very delicious
Yeah.
moonshine
Mhm.
at that. So if you would like to bring
Yep.
some, it would be okay.
I was doing work one time. There was a biker bar in Georgetown, really cool place called Hardtails. Love that place. I mean, it was always a lot of fun. I'd go over there and enjoy the evening back in the day, and then we started doing their IT work. And this was a man. He had passed away several years ago, but loved Dean. His name is Dean Edwards. Loved Dean. He was a great man. And he had a motorcycle shop, but he always had a dream to have a biker bar. And so he created this biker bar. The bad news was back in my rowdy days, and that biker bar was literally like, within a good walking distance from my house. So where did I stay a lot in the evenings? Well, I went to the biker bar down there, even though I wasn't a biker. And they had great food during the day. It actually was family friendly during the day. You know, at night they'd kick it up, turn up the music and all that, and have live bands there. It was a lot of fun. But one day I was over doing some IT work on the bike side of Hardtails. It was called Hog Alley, and so that was his motorcycle shop. I'm over there doing work, and he's like, "Hey man, try some of this." He gives me this ball jar, you know, like the ball canning jar. I was like, "What is it?" He goes, "Here, have a little sip." I thought it was like some water or something. "Here, have a little sip of this." I took one sip of that and almost hit the floor. I mean, I was like, "What is this?" He's like, "Man, like 95 proof or something." I was like, "Dude, this is terrible." He's like, "That'll kill every bad cell in your body." And I was like, "It'll kill you. It won't just kill the bad cells."
There's a biker bar. I don't even know if it's still open, but there's one by my parents' house. The name of it was He's Not Here.
Love that.
Yeah.
He's not here.
He's not here.
So whenever you drive, like the mom would be driving
You
by
just
with
call.
the
As
kids.
soon as you call, he's not here.
Yeah, he's not here.
That's it.
The mom would have the kids in the van. They'd be driving by, and they'd say, "Where's Dad?" I'm like, "He's not here."
He's not here.
I mean,
Yeah.
he probably was there. So. Well, it's been a lot of fun this morning. Good folks chiming in as well. Tish Humphrey saying, "Good morning, Huntsville." Good morning, Tish. Sally Hosey is also joining us, so good morning to Sally.
Good morning.
Appreciate you. George Pitts, this is a really cool story, guys. George Pitts, I met on an airplane. This is why I love like technology and the internet, and you know how Jerica joins us from Fargo every morning. You never know people that you're going to meet, and you never know is that meet only going to last for 2 seconds, or is it going to turn into a lifelong friendship?
Yep.
Guy like George Pitts, it's turned into a lifelong friendship. Lives in Conroe. Met him on a plane. I believe, George, it was in Houston. He was sitting up front on a Southwest plane. I got on, and there was a couple of seats open at the very front. You know, in Southwest, it's not first class, even up front, but you get that extra leg room. I look over, and this guy is like, I was like, this is like Santa Claus. And it was in the middle of, you know, it wasn't even Christmas time. We started talking. Turns out he is a Santa Claus. He's, you know, year-round. He goes out and does a lot of charity work. And then during Christmas, he dresses up as Santa fully. I mean, George, you already look like Santa. You know this. But during Christmas, he puts on the full ensemble, and that's what he does. He lives in Conroe, and his name is George Pitts. And he and I just started having a conversation, and that's how we met. And when I was broadcasting Huntsville baseball a couple of years ago, he actually showed up to one of the games just to support the Hornets.
Awesome.
He doesn't even live here, lives in Conroe. But he goes, "You know what, Rob, just because I met you and that connection," he goes, "I wanted to come out and support these kids." And
That's awesome.
so George Pitts chiming in, and
That Santa spirit.
yeah, and he was already saying earlier, he said, "Ho, ho, ho, howdy, Rob and friends." So good to see you this morning. Also, Jason Thompson over at Guardian Defense chiming in. Good morning. Morgan West chiming in as well. And George earlier said, "You know who else loves gingerbread?" Of course, George. And he said 365, 24/7. Well, again, been a fun one here today, just catching up. You know, we try to have guests on it every single day. Sometimes that's not possible. And so when we're not able to have a guest on, you know, we like to just catch up and have a good old chat, sit back, relax, and enjoy a little virtual moonshine here on the show.
Yes.
On Moonshine Day. So, Karen, what's the rest of the day look like for you? I know Mondays are super busy. You gotta go to work, and then a little bit of trivia, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
So it'll be a day for you, and
Get this party started.
we'll get things rocking and rolling. Again, please go by and see my good friends. You can see Karen, you can see Denise over at Walker County Federal Credit Union. One thing, too, when you walk in, they're not going to turn the other way. Their offices have glass right there. They can see you when you walk in. They're going to wave and say hello to you. And that's what I love, too, because I've been into some banks and not knocking any of them, but they have, you know, just regular old wooden doors. Everything's kind of boarded off, and I feel like, do these people really want to talk to me today?
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, y'all are so accessible, and you know how I talk a lot. I worry that I'm going to come in and start up a conversation, and you guys won't be able to do your work. So I just wave now, Karen. I don't know if you've noticed, but when I've seen
Yeah,
you,
that's
hey
okay.
Karen,
You
I don't
can
even,
stop and talk
I don't
or
want to sit there and talk because I don't want to take you
Wave
away
and
from your
go,
work.
whatever you want to do.
So, but go by and see him. Hey, Huntsville, again, just wanted to remind you today, just be thankful for living in this community. I know you may be going through a season, but I really do mean that. And that's kind of the core of this show. It's just highlighting the good that's happening around our community throughout the week. Tomorrow, in fact, I'm going to have a good friend on the show named Melton Green. Melton is very involved with kids here in this community, and he came in. I met him whenever I first started broadcasting Huntsville ISD. He came into my office and said, "Hey, I want to help you in some capacity." And Melton has he and his wife. He has kids from another marriage and his previous wife, and then they just got a lot of kids. And he has a heart for kids. And Melton is going to be on tomorrow just sharing his story, which I think is going to be really inspirational. So would love for you to tune back in tomorrow, hear Melton's story, someone who's an advocate for young people here in this community. And he came into my office, and I told him, I said, Melton, you don't realize that you have a gift for reaching kids. He's like, you think so? I said, yeah, man, you're always talking about encouraging kids, and you talk to them all the time. Mm-hmm. I said, man, it's time to start highlighting this. I don't know if I want to do all that. I said, no, you're going to come on the show and talk about it. Yeah. And so I volunteered him to be on tomorrow, and he's going to come on and share his story. So we've got those kind of stories lined up the rest of the week. So make sure to join us here on Good Morning Huntsville.
Perfect.
Before I let you go, I always got to ask you, Karen, what are you most thankful for?
Lately, weekends and the pool.
There you go. Weekends. Denise?
I am thankful for my parents. I'll give them a shout out. They just celebrated 45 years together.
Oh, wow.
On the 30th. So happy anniversary. Los quiero mucho. Congratulations. I hope you guys have many, many, many more years together.
Love that, man. Just Denise over here's out doing all of us this morning. Thanks a lot, Denise. We're done. No, appreciate it, Denise. And again, thank you, Huntsville, for chiming in. You can join us every single Monday through Friday right here, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. as we bring you all the good happening here in Huntsville and also on the new podcast format. In fact, I was driving in today. I told you I listen to a lot of inspirational things, but I tested it. I said, okay, Google, listen to Good Morning Huntsville. Simple as that. If you got an Android phone, I'm sure it works with Siri as well, but I literally said, oh, see, it's doing it right now. It already picked it up. I said, okay, Google, listen to Good Morning Huntsville. Bam, it started playing the podcast.
Perfect.
So that is how simple it is. If you're driving, you can listen and stay up to date with all things. It's been a good one. Thank y'all.
Yep.
Thanks
you.
again,
Thank
Walker
you.
County Federal Credit Union. You guys got a long day, so we'll let you out of here. And as always, friends, want to remind you today that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. Provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Somebody out there needs you. Until next time, good morning, Huntsville. God bless. Have a great week, everyone.